Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. It's a brand new show here on the Betting Weekly Studios. It's Betting Weekly Live. I'm Nigel Seeley. I'm joined by our soccer handicapper, Jack Wright, for this very first live show. Hello, Jack.
Hello, Nigel. How are you?
Hot, bothered, very hot. It's the hottest day in England. I'm absolutely sweltering. It's even about 10 degrees hotter in this office. It's absolutely boiling. How are you?
Yeah, very good, mate. I'm in the same boat, the hot boat, but we wouldn't be English if we weren't moaning about the weather being too hot, too cold, too wet, whatever in it. But yeah, more of that, please. And so I'm sure you're just beaving away there at the odds, looking at the odds, making it hotter in your office.
Yeah, I mean, this is the hottest day of the year, and it's the hottest day in 2 years. It's 92 degrees. I mean, I was speaking to Troy, who works backstage for us here at Bet Rivers, and he just said he had 10 consecutive days of 100 or over, and we're sweating around 93. I understand it. Anyway, so what the purpose of this new show is every Monday to Friday on a weekday, two of the handicappers from the Fabulous Because We Win team will be on here, marking your card, giving you the best bets for that day's action. What we'll be doing, we're running through the sporting events for that day, looking ahead to the action and giving you what we feel the best bets are. We'll be giving you where the market moves are from the Bet Rivers headquarters, trading headquarters, what's being bet and what is coming your way. So everything for today on Monday will have you covered. So the show today will feature the championship match that kicks off at 3 p.m. a little bit later on this afternoon between Luton and Burnley. We have some Montreal final, which seems to be going on forever and ever and ever because of the weather condition over there. The Toronto WTA final. And finally, we have some NLB picks. So we don't MLB's picks, sorry. So we won't be having any picks from us because we don't know absolutely anything about baseball, but we're going to ask it.
I was getting hotter then for a minute.
Yeah, well, that's probably why the sweat's coming down, the worry of me thinking I've got to give some baseball picks. But anyway, we're going to ask the floor open to you. Anyone on Twitter, anyone from this show, if you've got a pick tonight on the baseball, let us know what it is. We're going to look at the market moves, where the money has gone, and what you have in store for the rest of the day here on Monday. So let's start with the first action this afternoon. The reason why Jack is here is because Jack is an expert on English Championship football. The first match, the last weekend of the season, saw a bad weekend for the bettors. It was a great weekend for the sports books. Bet Rivers came out on top with 12% hold on the championship this weekend. The anti-post favourites for the championship, Leeds, failed to win. The anti-post favourites in League One, Birmingham, with all the money behind them, they didn't win. And neither did the League Two favourites, MK Dons. Very dangerous betting favourites on the first weekend of the season. But tonight we have two teams that were relegated last year from the Premier League. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Luton against Burnley. Let's have a look at the odds, Jack. These are the odds currently live with Bet Rivers. Plus 140 Luton. They opened up at plus 138. Burnley are plus 170. They were plus 175. And plus 210 was the tie, and the ties remain plus 210. Over and under. Under is a marginal favourite at minus 113. Over is minus 110. And both teams to score yes is minus 152. No is plus 108. Give you some market moves for the Bet Rivers trading room. 83% of the money is on the money line, and 61% of the tickets are for Luton this evening. On over and under, 85% of the tickets are on over for this match. A big wager of the day, $920 on Pelly Ruddock to have under 1.5 shots at minus 245. You're the prop bet man. You're the man who knows all about those shots. But the money is for over. Now, the one thing I'm slightly worried about is this heat. Now, I am overemphasizing it, but this is the UK. This is going to play a big factor in this match this evening. What do you think about those odds, and where's your money going?
Yeah, I think this is a very, very tough one to call as far as the winner or the end result's going to be on this. And I think that's reflected in the odds. It's pretty much a pick 'em contest, isn't it? Burnley obviously cruised this league 2 seasons ago when they got promoted. Luton had to go out via the playoffs. Different manager, of course, in charge of Burnley now. But that Scott Parker, who has got course and distance form as far as this championship is concerned. He's taken Bournemouth and Fulham up there already. I like Luton because their business last season was strong with relegation in mind, wasn't it? They kind of brought in a lot of players that had potential as far as top end of the championship was concerned. They made the better fist of it as far as trying to stay in the Premier League was concerned. Went effectively to the final day of the season. So it's tough how Burnley are going to integrate their players and obviously a new manager and a new style, whereas we kind of know what we're going to get from Luton. There's a couple of key things, I think, which has had a little bit of a sway in the market as far as Luton have had quite a few defensive injuries. They're looking at Bell, Brown, Anderson, and Marvelous Nakamba as well, who's a defensive midfielder. He's out, and Burke as well. So I think there's issues in their defence, which is probably why there's been money for overs and high percentage tickets on overs there. And the key element for me, as far as Burnley are concerned, is what goalkeeper they play. They picked up Haladki from Ipswich, and that's a fairly solid pickup. James Trafford is a highly rated goalkeeper. England under 21. He's been talked about a possible £15 million move back to the Premier League this season. I don't buy it myself. I think he's a Dracula of a goalkeeper, isn't he? He's one that just hates crosses. He does not command his box at all. So if they're playing him tonight, I think they're in big bother, because we know what Luton will do. They get it wide, they get the ball in, they play set pieces. So team news is crucial on that one. And if he is playing, I'd potentially anticipate a little bit of money for Luton coming.
Yeah, all the money at the moment is for over, and the money is for Luton as well, despite some kind of, not really much moves on the money market, but Luton and overs definitely seems to be the way that the bettors want to be going. I'm looking at the head-to-head between these two, and I'm not really a huge fan of head-to-heads, but I do think sometimes it's relevant. And these two sides obviously played last year twice in the Premier League. They played twice the year before as well, when they were both in the Championship. And you've got to go back a long time since you see a Luton win. You've got to go back to the year 2000 to find the Luton win. In the last 6 years, last year, it was a 2-1 win for Burnley. They very rarely won a match on the road, but they did win against Luton. They won in 2022, 2023, 1-0. And they also won the year before that as well, 2-0 as well. So Burnley have a very, very good record against Luton. I know there's a lot of different players, and I know there's a lot of new personnel, new managers, but that head-to-head record is something that bettors like to look at, especially if it's current, and it's quite current. Like, you know, they've been top end and at the bottom end of the Premier League last season, so the form guide is pretty much the same.
Yeah, no, right. I remember that game, that one at Kenilworth Road last season. It was say it was 2-1, wasn't it? Where Luton had battered Burnley all game, and I think they got a equaliser on about 87 minutes, and then Burnley went straight down. I remember because we were on 1-1 that day. Hence why that does stick in my mind. And then Burnley went down the other end more or less straight away and got a late winner. So, yeah, I think those recent trends would lean that way. You would suggest it would be, you'd be looking to sign with Burnley if you're a trend follower, and I say overs. And I think a couple of people are coming in saying both teams to score. As a big fan of that tonight. Pretty, you're paying a bit of a premium to get on board with that as a straight up bet. But it's interesting that there's quite a big difference between the both teams to score yes and over 2.5 goals. Yeah,
the market definitely the bettors here in the chat. We've got both teams to score easy. I think Burnley are a good price, but it's all about opinions. Lots of people liking the overs here, and to me, that's great news. When everybody in the world wants to be on the overs, you know what I want to be? I want to be on the unders. I think it's the first match of the season, and I think it's cagey, and I don't think you should go all in on the first match of the season. We saw at the weekend, as I said, the three strong favourites in the Championship, in League One, in League Two, all failed to win. Birmingham were the heaviest favourites, and Bet Rivers kept the money. So keep the money dry, I think, here. If you were going to have a bet, where are we going to go? Where are you going to go? What are we looking at here?
Do you know what? If I had to have a bet, I would actually go with what I then said at the top of the show, really. It's a tough one to call, so therefore a tie stands out to me. That would be the bet that I'd have. I can't really separate the two either. Scott Parker coming into Burnley, he's a lot more of a defensive manager. He's a tight and compact manager compared to what they're seeing with Company. So, as always, early goal changes it, but I think this one could be tight and tough to split. So, if pushed, not really, a strong fancy, but I'd be going with a 1-1.
1-1 draw. Let us know what you think in the comments box. Anyone give us a correct score? Anyone give us your pick? Whatever you think, get your best bet here. Draw $4.31 in Australia. Well, that's a bit of value, isn't it? We've got to fly all the way to Australia to get the wager down. We won't be able to pay, but that's
maybe he's just offering us that price himself.
Well, it's only plus 210 with Bet Rivers here, and it's been, it's a very low price, but I just do think the first match of the season, there's a lot of draws between these two sides, and I think tonight that may be a draw as well. Remember, it's this afternoon, it's 3 p.m. Eastern time. Head across to the Bet Rivers website or the app, a whole host of markets. I mean, a staggering amount of markets. I think there's almost 450 different markets on this match with the Bet Rivers app. And when you consider at the weekend, the Championship was the 5th most wager sports on soccer league. The fifth most wager league of the soccer leagues of the season at the weekend, trailing behind the Argentinian league, the Copa America, club friendlies, and the Brazilian league as well. So fifth amount. So still 430 markets there, and I'm sure the championship will build that up. Just have a look at the championship before we leave the soccer behind for now. Let's have a look at the outright market to win the championship this season. Leeds are still the favourites at 2-1. They're owned now by the Red Bull Group, who own Leipzig and Salzburg. A lot of people think Leeds were going to bounce back and win this division after the disappointment last year. Burnley are the second favourites at 8-1. Yep, Luton are 11-1, the third favourites. Middlesbrough 12. Sheffield United 14, and West Bromwich Albion 14-1 as well. Anything you like in the outright market?
I like in Sheffield United at the moment. They made some really shrewd signings. They've picked up some players that really suit their style. If they can keep hold of someone like Gus Hamer in the middle there, I think they're a big price actually to potentially if you can get on each way. But certainly, I think they'll give you a good run for their money. Started off with a really solid win at the weekend, and I think they're ones that are got a little bit of juice in their price at the moment. We saw the first managerial casualty today as well, didn't we?
After one day gone.
We haven't even completed the first round of fixtures yet. Ryan Lowe gone, Preston. And they're looking for a new manager. It's interesting to see. I had a quick look on their relegation odds. They're plus 333 at the moment to go down. Second favourites to go down behind Plymouth. And interesting to see who they bring in as a new manager. But not a great start to the season there.
No question for you there, Jack. What do you think about Sunderland to be in the top two from Foxy FI?
Yeah, there's been a lot of noise about Sunderland. I think they've recruited quite well. They've got a new manager in this season. It took ages getting a manager in place. So I think they've got a lot of young talent at Sunderland. Key player for them, of course, Jack Clark, who did score at the weekend. That was a good win for them as well. So there's some sides in there that are bubbling around that I think could certainly creep up on the outside. And see, Sunderland keep hold of Jack Clark and their young players gel quickly. They could certainly be in the playoff shout. Top two might be a stretch for them, but the price is reflective of that. So, decent shout, I think.
Yeah, I've bet Leeds to win the title. No surprise there, but I've had quite a decent bet. One of my strongest bets is on Middlesbrough to finish in the top six. They got off to a winning start as well. One final question before we leave the soccer behind here. Plymouth might be looking for a new manager, according to Duncan Everett. I just think it's a matter of, anybody who's bet Wayne Rooney to go first will be absolutely disgusting what happened at Preston today. But that was the worst performance I've seen from the start of the season from any side for years. And Wayne Rooney looks out of his depth already at Plymouth. Okay, let's move across now from the soccer action, which kicks off at 3 p.m. Luton v Burnley is the championship match today at 3 p.m. We're moving across there and we're going to go to tennis. Now, there is two finals. There's also a tournament in Cincinnati, a 1,000 event in Cincinnati. I won't go into too much detail on the Cincinnati matches today because I've just recorded a podcast with Sean Calvert, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, which will be live a little bit later on today. He's got some outright picks on there as well as some match bets as well. And that'll be dropping here on the YouTube show and on the podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, which you can download from your podcast provider a little bit later on today. So I'm not going to go too much into Cincinnati. It's all about today's action. And the two tournaments we're going to talk about are the finals on the tennis in Montreal for the men's and in Toronto for the women's after a tournament's been affected by the weather. Now, the men's final is between Andrei Rublev and Alexei Popyrin. Now, Andrei Rublev has had a terrible run of form recently. He's been smashing more rackets than smashing winners. And Alexei Popyrin has come from absolutely nowhere to make the final in Montreal. Now, Popyrin was 150-1 chance with Bet Rivers pre-tournament. And no surprise at all that nobody bet him. But one lucky bettor did have $20 on him at 50-1 as the tournament progressed. So he's got a chance to win $1,000 in the final. Now, one of my motto is hedging this for gardeners, but if you're on 150-1 or 50-1, you might want to do so here with Andrei Rublev. Rublev is the favourite, -305, but the Russian come out today and said he's been struggling with some mental health problems. Alexei Popyrin will have all the support, there's no doubt about it. And Rublev can get a bit temperamental, as we've seen. I think this is a very interesting betting market, not because I think that Rublev is going to one away with it. I don't think -305 is a price that I would definitely bet. I never bet -305 bet prices anyway. And I don't really make a case for Popyrin at +240 because he had to play two matches in succession yesterday. But the head-to-head, they met this year in Monte Carlo. and Popyrin won on clay, which was no one would have ever expected. And Rublev was the defending champion then. He won 6-4, 6-4. They also played in Vienna, and Rublev won that one 7-6, 6-4. And I just think this could be a tight match. I'm liking the overs here at 21.5. I think the 21.5 is quite a low line. We've seen in the 2 matches they've played, one of them didn't cash with 20 games, but the other one was 23 games on the over in Vienna. And I just got a feeling this could be a long match. And I just think whoever goes in front, this could be a trading match. So I think this will be a long one. I believe that Rublev is the rightful favourite, but I couldn't trust him to get over the finishing line. Definitely what we've seen from him so far this year, in recent years, in recent months. And I think Popyrin has a big chance here to win a 1,000 event. So I'm looking at some of the props with Bet Rivers. I like over 1.5 sets, over 2.5 sets tonight. I think that's a good bet. I'm looking at the overs, but I do think we can go into a third set. I'm going to go for Popyrin to win it, but not Popyrin to win it. I'm not going to go who I think will win it. I think Rublev will probably edge it, but I do believe that we may have a long match this evening with these 2 matches here, which is a final nobody expected to see. So it's a very, very difficult one to call. Rublev is the favourite. There is question marks about both of them, but I would expect him to just edge it, but it will be a long one. So over 2.5 sets would be my lean. And that final in Montreal is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and head across to the Bet Rivers website and on the app. There is, again, a whole multitude of different markets available. So that is 3 p.m. this afternoon. Then 7:30 p.m. we have the tennis. At 8 p.m. we have the women's final in Toronto, where again we have a shock finalist. We have Jess Pegula. She's looking to win a second tournament in Canada. She's the American player who hasn't had a very good year, but she's done well here to reach the final. She plays Anna Anismova. And Anismova has been absolutely sensational this week and has been the most improved player of the whole week on the women's tour. She's playing some of the best tennis that you've seen her play for many years. She, again, is the underdog here. Minus 220 now for Pegula. She opened up at minus 215. Anisimova was plus 170. She is now plus 175. And I give Anisimova a chance here. I really do. She's 13-3. On hard courts this year. She's a lot better player than her world ranking suggests. She's had all kinds of problems with injuries. She's been brilliant this year. She beat Sabalenka, Kanatskaya, Navarro, Kazatkina. It's a real tough route. She got the quarterfinals in Washington as well. Really a player on the up. Pegula's coming back from a long layoff since the Olympics. She played at Wimbledon, she played the Olympics, and then here at Toronto. She hasn't dropped a set yet, Pegula, but I think this is a real tough match. And I think at plus 175, Anisimova has got a little bit of a chance here. The last time they met was in Charleston in this year, and just Pegula to come through another epic. She won it 3-6, 6-4, 7-6, but this is a very different Anisimova, and I think Amanda Anisimova has got a great chance here, and I'm going to give her a little bet here at plus 175, and I'm also, again, looking at the over 21.5 at minus 109. There has been money for the favourites, and I'm sure that people will be betting the parlay of Rublev and Pegula, but I got a feeling this might be a little bit more difficult than those odds suggest. So that's my wrap up there. I spoke to Rory Giovanni on the WTA show today. He's our WTA expert. He actually thinks Anisimova, again, could be over the games. And Sean Calver, our ATP Tour expert, he believes over 2.5 sets is the way that he will play on that Popyrin match as well. So that's the interest from both of our senior handicappers on the WTA and on the ATP. Do you follow?
People are getting worried. They're asking where Sean is, Nigel. That I've not replaced Sean Calvert. That is an impossible task. But your video,
no one can play. Nobody can play Sean Calvert. Sean Calvert's video will be dropping tonight. That will be live after this show, and we're looking at Cincinnati. I've recorded a video with Rory Giovanni on the WTA when we're looking at this week's WTA event on the Cincinnati as well. That will be dropping later on tonight, and a new show with myself and the legendary professional bettor Neil Channing. The betting dojo will be live as well, but a bit later on. So it's a monster day here on the Betting Weekly Studios. Lots of content, and it's going to get even crazier with the tennis build up for the US Open and also the start of the Premier League on Thursday. Now, finally, we've got one more sport to talk about. Now, I know Jack is a big fan, and I've been following this, and this is the bit you've been waiting for. It's the MLB, it's the baseball. It's a full card this evening, starting from 6:40 a.m. a whole host of matches available on the Bet Rivers website. And here's a selection of the few matches and the money line prices, what we have there. We'll leave the graphic up a little bit long because there is so many different matches to get through, all the different matches, all different time zones. But baseball is the big thing this evening for the Bet Rivers bettors. Now, you'll be pleased to know that myself and Jack aren't going to pretend to know anything about baseball. This is where we need your help. So if you're watching this show and you want to give us your bet, put it in the comments box below. Let me know what you think, because this is the time that we're opening up the floor for you to tell us what to bet. We sent a tweet out earlier today, didn't we, Jack? And we asked the bettors and the followers on our Because We Win Twitter account to give us their best bets. And these are what the guys have given us. What do we got?
Okay, here we go. So, yes, it looks like there's some nice little bets coming through here. So, we'll look forward to some feedback on these one. First up is Michael Berry at Mike Berry Poker. So, yes, and he is going with San Diego -1.5 at +135 tonight. I'm trying to scroll down there to find out who they're playing. Where are they?
They're playing the Pittsburgh Pirates. It looks like -165. Yes. The Padres and +138. The Pirates.
Superb. Well, he's going on the handicap there, +135, and his reasoning behind that: San Diego are 8-2 from their last 10, whereas Pittsburgh are 1-9. Terrible form. Right, for
he's
the
sold.
Pirates.
I'm in.
I'm absolutely all in. I'm all in on that one. Very nice.
What else we got? Any more? We got any more?
Oh yeah. We've got a couple here. We've got Novem 3M. There we go. Interesting. And he's gone for the Rangers team total over 2.5, and that one's plus money, +120 on that one. So we're going for a little team total effort there. We don't care about the result in this one. I've got a nice little bit of reasonable here from a beautiful username, Toby1 Kenobi. Thanks, Toby. And he's gone for the San Francisco Giants. Wrong favourite here. I could read this and pretend I know what I'm talking about. Sale coming from his worst outing of the year. I thought it was terrible. Yesterday, Atlanta lost from 8-2 up in the 8th inning. And as we know, there's only 9 innings, isn't there? So versus a putrid Rockies team, momentum definitely not there. Plus, San Francisco pitchers Snell in great stretches of quality starts. There we have it. Lovely reasoning. So, the Giants are the wrong favourites there. So, we're fading the Giants in that.
I'm going to bet these.
Toby one.
I am going to bet these, and I'm going to ask those guys. I'm going to have some interest in them. I'm going to have if you head across the Bet Rivers, they have a whole host of markets on the baseball this evening. It's a busy day of sports action all across the globe, and these are the kind of things that we're going to live you through here on the live shows. Not only the soccer, we've got we've only got the tennis, we've got baseball as well, and we'll have a show every day now giving you the best bets and all the runners and riders and all the latest betting news from the Bet Rivers headquarters, from the trading desk, and what they want to do. If we look at the baseball today, I'll give you some final information from Bet Rivers. Their most wagered on baseball bets for Monday are the Yankees on the money line, the Cubs on the money line, Yankees -1.5, the Twins on the money line, Tex Boss match over. And the biggest bet is $10,000 on the Yankees money line via the White Sox at -315. Nice. So
interesting. You mentioned the Twins there, Nigel. James Edwards is the last one I'll mention here. The Minnesota Twins at $1.62 have the pitching edge over the Rays. That's where his money's going as well. So Minnesota Twins is the selection from him.
That's it. So hopefully the Twins do the business. The Yankees do the business. We're going for a draw in Luton against Burnley, but the bettors and the people on the chat here are going for over. When you all bet the over, Seeley bets the under, and I'll be betting the under. And on the tennis tonight, Alexei Popyrin and Rublev in the final in Montreal. I think that could be a long match. I quite like the over total there, and also going for over 2.5 games. And in the Toronto tennis, I'm going to give Amanda Anismova a chance. She's looking really, really good, and she's going to be a real threat, at the US Open, which starts 2 weeks. And we'll have everybody covered here on the Betting Weekly Studios. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios. Download our podcast on your preferred podcast provider, and also follow us on our socials at Because We Win on Twitter and Instagram. That's it for our first live show. We'll be back tomorrow. I can't remember who's on tomorrow. It'll be me. I think it's me again, but I think I'm alongside RJ.
Isn't it?
I'm alongside RJ. I think I'm alongside RJ tomorrow. So
that
RJ
will be a must watch.
That will be. He'll know a lot more about the American sports than what I will do. So it'll be interesting to see there. Loads more talk about that. We'll give you some more updates from the Bet Rivers trading room. Some more action. Have a great day. Cash some tickets and give us some comments and anything else. And make sure you follow us on our YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios. Take care. Enjoy your evening. And it's hot. Think of that tonight when it's 0-0 in Luton, Burnley. Take care.
Oh, give me that fan.